Taxi, what the f swans have to do with Halloween? Hey everyone, after some medical issues, I'm back! Finally! So a good friend of mine wanted to do scary fairy tales for Halloween. Due to circumstances, I'm the only one left. And that's okay! Please take care of yourselves, your hobbies will be waiting for when you feel better. I chose my favorite story, The Wild Swans. So let's get started, okay? I managed to get my hands on a Mary Sanderson and a Harris Reed doll for good prices. Mary's hair is a mess of glue and hard as a rock, but Harris, soft, silky, really beautiful. I was originally going to reroute them, but no, I'm keeping this hair. But Mary, let's get this mess off of her. You can see the shine where the glue actually leaked onto her face. Let's hope acetone gets that off. Speaking of acetone, let's get started with removing their faces. I feel bad. It seems there was a lot of work put in these faces, and they're really lovely. I'd like another Harris for my collection. Harris has tattoos all over their arms. We have to sand them off the right arm and hand. But, we don't need the left one, so, you know, yoink. Mary had purplish black hair, but my vision of Elisa, the princess, has blonde hair. Welcome to my room, where I was doing yarn work while very sick. We need to unravel some into smaller strands, and once you have squishy ramen noodles, we're also going to need a big needle. Sorry for the angle. What I'm doing is forcing the point of the needle into a hole and through the neck hole, but not all the way. I'm then putting a strand of yarn through the needle and pulling that all the way through. I then take the yarn off and knot the end, and then pull it back into the neck hole. Do this gently so it doesn't break, and you'll have a secure strand of hair. I don't fill all the holes as it'd be too much. Now I fill the head with Fabri-Tac because I'm paranoid and I don't want to have to do that again. Now that it's dry, we can brush it out. And then straighten it if you want to. I lost the footage of using epoxy sculpt, but I used it like a scar wax for special effects makeup. After sanding it down, I went ahead and painted a color close to the doll's skin. Or as close as I could get. So let me tell you a story. A long time ago, in a prosperous kingdom far, far away, lived a king. He had 11 children who were kind and intelligent. They did their lessons on golden slates with diamond pencils. The king also had a daughter he loved dearly, the Princess Elisa. She was pure of heart and beautiful, and she and her siblings loved each other. One day, the king married a wicked woman who hated his children. She sent Elisa away to live with a peasant family and earn her keep. She was gone for years. During that time, the wicked stepmother became versed in black magic. She transformed the 11 other siblings into swans and cursed them so that they could only return to the land of their birth once a year, and filled the king's head with lies about the princess. After years, she returned, more beautiful than ever, and the queen was enraged. She wanted to turn her into a swan, but the king wished to see his daughter. Instead, she put cursed toads into her bath, but they turned into flowers due to her purity. Instead, she altered her face, so when her father saw her, he refused to believe she was his daughter. She fled the kingdom and wandered. One day, she found a river with 11 swans, wearing golden crowns. She followed them, and at night, they turned into her siblings. They explained that they lived on a faraway rock, where at night they had to huddle together, or they would fall into the sea and drown. She mourned for them, but they managed to find a large rug, and using it as a hammock, took her with them to their new home. Through a series of events, she learned of magic grass, when sewn into jackets with stinging nettles, would transform her siblings back and break their curse. But she could tell no one what she was doing, or would fail forever. So in silence, she worked. Her siblings, very confused, took care of her, making sure she had all she needed to continue her tasks while not understanding why. She had 3 jackets left, when she was found by a traveling king. He was enchanted by her and confused by her silence. Still, he decided to take her back to his kingdom. Reluctantly, she followed him. Once there, he attempted to woo her, but nothing he showed her had a result, until he noticed she had run out of nettles and became distraught. And so he filled a room with them and gifted them to her. She was overjoyed. His bishop didn't trust Elisa. All he needed was a chance to prove he was right, as the king would not listen. His time came. Elisa had run out of nettles once again, and only 1 jacket to finish. And so she went to the churchyard and harvested some growing on the graves. The bishop saw her and told the king that she was a witch. Disturbed, the king decided to put her to death. She was taken to jail and given her jackets and nettles. Her spirits didn't drop. She sewed on her way to her pyre. The swan siblings happened to be flying overhead at the time, searching for where their sister had gone. Seeing her peril, they dropped onto the pyre with her, snapping at the executioner. Elisa, though still not finished with the sleeve of the last jacket, threw them onto her siblings, who were released from their curse and transformed back into humans. Except for the youngest, who retained swan wing on an arm. They admonished the crowd and shared their story and saved their sister. Touched, the king immediately took her as his wife, and they all lived happily ever after. So at this point, we're pretty far into the face-up of Elisa. I decided to give her bright blue eyes to go with the old innocent princess trope. I've tried to create bruising around her wounds, as well with pastels. At this point, all I'm doing is building up color more and more until it reaches the opacity I want. I tried to give her very little makeup, because I figured that she should look more innocent and more natural. As usual, I add the black outlines, and the eyelashes, and the pupils. At the very, very end. Can't forget the highlights. Then I add some catch lights because I just really like how they look. And I use a dotting tool to paint in various shades of red to create blood. Once that's done, I add some blood spatter as well. I then cover her eyes, lips, and wounds in UV resin. For Phoenix arm wound, yes, I named them Phoenix, I use hot glue to map out the gushing blood. Now, well, for Elisa, it took me a long time to come up with her concept. There's a part in the original story that is quite, well, racist, and I did not want to in any way portray that, so I had to come up with an alternative. Eventually, I got there. Phoenix, however, I knew exactly what I wanted to do. And for this, they're going to need a very pale face. Everything else, however, can be blushed. At this point, I have laid down a lot of white, and that's because I plan on using some rather pale colors in places, and I need it to stand out and show up. I was going for a swan eye, which is generally more orange in color. And the makeup's a lot of red, oranges, and yellows. So I really wanted to base their makeup off of Natalie Portman in Black Swan, and this photo that is probably one of my favorites on the internet ever. I was trying to channel Hexgen a bit with making them very fierce looking and dramatic. I used purple, red, blue, pink, and a tiny bit of black pastel to create a bruise-like texture around their elbow. I then used red paints of varying shades to complete the blood effect. and then more resin to finish them off. For Elise's clothes, I used the plastic wrap and tape method. Full disclosure, I did mess this up, and it led to fitting issues later that I had to deal with.
Look at this. You know what that is? That is a tooth mark. Let's see if we can find the culprit. What do you have to say for yourself, huh? No, don't be cute. You bit my doll. I can't stay mad at you. You're too cute. Yeah, okay. Are you sorry? No. I didn't think so.
I then cut out my pattern pieces on fabric my friend sent me, and created this bodice and skirt. Using more of my friend's gift fabric, I created a chemise which would gather nicely underneath the skirt and bodice. Let's take down her hair. Not gonna lie, I wasn't sure about this doll at all, until I took down her hair and saw the whole picture. She's so cute, and I'm really happy with her. I then brushed her hair out and separated it into 3 parts. And I put the back part into a bun. I want her to have a headpiece, so I measured her head and then created a paper pattern, which I then transferred onto Warbler. I heated it up, and then molded it around her head. After many days of trial and error, I landed on this hat, which was inspired by a French hood. Now that that's done, I can curl her front tendrils. and flatten them into place with a heated butter knife. Time for Phoenix's jacket. I drafted these myself, along with a factoring pattern for a pair of Monster High boy pants I took apart. All the pieces are cut. What I want to do is make the undershirt, vest, and jacket all one piece to reduce bulk. So first I need to sew up the shoulders and attach the inner piece together. Then get those into the center, attach the one sleeve, and close it up in the middle. It came out like this. There are mishaps, but a care package helped me through.
So this, suppose, is a factory pattern. I used a factory pattern from Mattel, and it doesn't fit. The crotch is too high, so the butt doesn't go in. It just... So anyway, yeet. And I drafted my own pair of pants that fit way better.
Phoenix also deserves a fancy hat. I didn't like the idea of a crown, so I cut a strip bigger than his head circumference and gathered a circle of fabric. I attached the circle to the band right sides together. Then flip the band to the inside and stitch in the ditch, and this is what you got. A nice floppy barred muffin hat, as Ginny D says. They need some jewelry, so I found my ancient gold polymer clay and some glass seed beads. Don't put plastic in the oven, okay? They do need a little sanding, though. The round piece is for a pendant for Elise to wear. The square piece get combined with 2 cut feathers to become a hat pin for Phoenix. As a finishing touch on their jacket, I added a belted strap. I tried so many methods for shoes. Eventually I got stubborn and decided I was going to make Warbler work. So after making tape casts of both their feet, I cut Warbler pieces and heated them up, and molded them around the doll's feet. I did this for many days. But in the end I had serviceable shoes. I wanted a rough leather look, so this works well. I then painted both pairs in various browns and black. Before sealing them with Mod Podge. I added studs and buckles for extra detail. Finally onto Phoenix's wing arm. I first used their upper arm as a reference and drew up a suitable size on a scrap piece of paper. I wanted it to be posable, so I took a thick wire and fit it along the drawing, leaving a bit out at the end to attach to the arm. I then sandwiched the wire between white pleather using Fabri-Tac. Time to cut and shape feathers. I cut 3 sizes and made sure to save all the downy soft bits. Now time to attach the wings with hot glue. Please enjoy the unedited noises of me working with these.
God. Glue. Oh god, it's everywhere. Hap.
And then added all the fluff to the top. It's the most beautiful thing I ever made. Too bad I must now destroy it. Using various shades of red, blue, and purple, I painted blood all over the wing. Finally, it's time to attach the wing to the arm with the strongest glue I have. I'll detach it and reinforce it with epoxy at a later date. And they're done! Wow, I can't believe I managed this project. I'm so proud and happy with them. They're beautiful. They also make me very sad for personal reasons, but that's okay. I'd like to thank Cinnamon Roll Left's Paw on Instagram for setting all this up. Love you, Shelby. And all my friends who supported me through these last few months when everything was going wrong. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more. I really appreciate you guys who watch, and thank you for that. You'll find my shop links below along with contact details. See you all later. Bye now.